All right. Hey, hello out there to everyone out in internet land and radio land. Today is Tuesday, July the 26th. We want to welcome you to Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB. And we would also like to welcome all of our viewers out there, or all our listeners out there listening on WBCQ on 5130 kilohertz. And they're up in Monticello, Maine, a very famous shortwave station up there, The Planet. So if you're listening on shortwave and you've got internet nearby, tune us in at W5KUB.com and you can watch the show tonight. And you can get in a chat room with us. And for any of the hams out there who want to try to listen in on 5130, we'll see if the propagation is any good in your area. I'm being told the mic's a little hot, so I'll turn it down a little bit. Okay, let's see. Well, I wanted to welcome everybody to Facebook, our Facebook group. Please, there's a link at the top of our page. Join our Facebook group. There's a lot of good information about upcoming shows, and it's just a good ham radio spot for you to talk ham radio. So please join our Facebook group, join us on Twitter, help us spread the news there. Frank, K4FMH, Frank Howell, was going to be back with us tonight, but Frank is having some massive storms down around Jackson, Tennessee, so Jackson, Mississippi, so he's not going to be with us tonight. So I'm going to try to fill his shoes tonight. Hey, we got the Huntsville Hamfest coming up. I think it's August the 20th. It's going to be a great Hamfest. It always is. You guys come on down and see us and visit with us and come by and say hello. We'll be webcasting that live, and we've got prizes for our viewers. In fact, one of our guests tonight donated 3 prizes that we'll be giving out on the show when we go down to Huntsville. So tonight our guest is Richard Moseson, W2VU. Rich is the editor of CQ Magazine, and he's going to tell us about some of the things coming up in CQ in this next issue. Let me see if I can find Rich. Rich, are you there?
Yes, I am. Okay. How are you tonight?
Well, I'm doing good. I got the audio here. Go ahead. Hey, Rich, welcome back. You're a regular on our show about once a month toward the end of the month. We have you on here, and we'd like to hear what's coming up in CQ Magazine and get a little preview of it. So I don't know where to start, man. Tell us what's in here this week or this month.
With the cover, which features a photo taken by another one of your regulars, Joe Eisenberg, our kit building editor.
Yeah, K0NEB. I talked to Joe about that, and yes, he took that cover picture. That is so cool. I think he said that's his first major magazine cover that he's done.
Yeah, it's so he's done a lot of great pictures in the magazine, and he's taken wonderful pictures at Dayton and stuff that we've featured online as well as in the magazine. In fact, we've got a bunch of his pictures in this issue in our Dayton coverage, and but his cover picture here is illustrating the summer projects to enjoy in this issue, because it's a good thing to do. Say if there's a monster thunderstorm or something and you don't want to have your radio plugged in and your antenna plugged in, plug in your soldering iron instead, and you can work on a project. We've got a cheap and easy broadcast interference filter article, which is a kind of an article with 2 goals. One is the project, of course, and the other is to help show how you can do stuff at very little cost. The author, Jack Purdom, W8TEE, was at his demonstration that his club was doing, and he heard one kid who was really excited about ham radio talking to his mom about it, and she said, "Oh, but look at all this expensive gear. It's going to cost thousands of dollars to get started." And so he decided to not only talk about how you don't have to spend that much money, but to do something about it by coming up with a great little project. He's got another project article coming up in September as well. He doesn't even know that yet, if he's listening.
Oh, wow.
We also have in our Matt's Notes column another project on simple voltage measurements. Joe, in his kit building column, wrote about kits on a plane. The kit he's got in the picture there was one of the 4 days in May QRP projects, and he built his, didn't solder it, of course, while flying to Dayton on a plane with Rex Harper, K1R, W1REX from QRP Maine, who puts together the kit building projects there. And our last summer project for the issue is in our antennas column, where Kent Britton, WA5VJB, shows you how to build a broadband vertical out of 2 pizza pans. So
Out of 2 what?
Pizza pans.
Pizza pans.
Yeah, let me get it here.
That may be. I'm always looking for interesting projects like that.
Here you go. See if I can get that up.
Let me get you back in here. Let me see. Okay, I got it. Cool.
Okay.
Is it directional or do you know? I mean,
I believe it's omnidirectional. It's basically one is the driven element and one is the
reflector.
shield. And
Or yeah.
let's see. I'm just taking a quick look here to. I don't see right offhand, but I believe it's omnidirectional.
Well, it should be if it's a vertical. So I'll have to look at the article and try it out.
We've also got a really cool article on KB5AVY's recollections of a chance meeting with Muhammad Ali as a result of hearing on his 2-meter rig while driving with his family someplace that the champ was nearby shooting a movie, and he went over there and talked his way in and managed to meet him and take some pictures with him, and it's a really very cool recollection.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, and we've got a great piece on the Colorado 14ers. That event is celebrating its 25th anniversary this month in August, and we've got a great piece on the history and current state of the event, where hams in Colorado tried to activate as many 14,000 plus foot peaks as possible, and the state has 54 of them, so it's a pretty big effort. We've got results of the 160 meter contest, and some really interesting things in our columns, in addition to the couple that I already mentioned, the pizza pan antenna in the antennas column, and Joe's kits on a plane, and Matt's notes on voltage measurements. We've also got an introduction to meteor scatter in our VHF plus column, and our awards column, which doesn't really get featured frequently enough, is about a series of awards called the Flora and Fauna Awards. And this is going to parks and other natural places. So it's kind of a corollary to the National Parks on the Air Award, although that one was there first. And you've got basically everything OTA these days on the air. Islands on the air, summits on the air, parks on the air, trees and flowers on the air. And
well, there's definitely a lot of different on the airs I've noticed lately. There will be plenty of ham radio activity for people to enjoy.
Yeah, and I think they're all great because they encourage us to get outside with our radio gear. It's good exercise. Too many of us spend too much time sitting where I am now in a basement ham shack, and becomes kind of a sedentary activity. And if you can get out with your gear and operate from some place that you have to hike to, then you get some good exercise in there as well. Plus, of course, it helps with our emergency preparedness mission of being able to put a station on the air from the middle of nowhere with battery power and a wire antenna, and make contacts with people. So it's one of the greatest trends in ham radio today, as far as I'm concerned, is all of these programs that encourage people to get outside and take the hobby with them.
Well, you mentioned you're down in your basement there. You know, down here where we live in the South, not many people have basements. I guess it would flood too much or something, or I don't know. But we sure need them because of tornadoes a lot of times. But you know, I think your basement there would make a perfect ham shack. Do you enjoy being down there?
Yeah, when it's comfortable enough, which it is right now with fans on. It's actually, it stays pretty cool down here for quite a while. We have a stone foundation in the house. It's a very old house, so it really retains the coolness in the first part of the summer. Of course, it stays warm a little longer into the fall, but generally it's quite comfortable, and I enjoy being down here.
All right. Well, you know, hey, I'm missing somebody there tonight. I'm missing. Is it Dougal?
He is right here with me, my editorial assistant.
Let's see your editorial assistant, Mr. Dougal, or is that Mrs. Dougal? I don't know, but it's Dougal.
Yes. And he's irregular with me here, and he was just sitting in my lap, and now he's crawling under the computer and moving things around. But yeah, he helps with a lot of stuff. He's can be a harsh critic sometimes. I'll be working on a story and he'll just decide that, nah, this doesn't meet his standards, and he'll just walk across the keyboard and make it clear that it needs more work.
Yeah. Well, Rich, we're trying all new everything tonight. We've got new software here that does the TV type webcast, and we upgraded all. We've got 5 PCs here all networked together to make this thing happen, and so you're kind of a guinea pig tonight. Boy, I'm looking at the audio levels. They look terrible on the monitor here. So in just a minute, I'm going to probably take a break and have our viewers out there give me some feedback on how things are doing. I don't like some of the things I'm seeing, but hey, I really like the CQ magazine this month and the articles in it. And I know you're going to be down at Huntsville. Yep. A lot of people that watch the show here in the Southeast, they'll also be there, and come by and visit with us there in the booth and meet the other people that are going to come by. And again, CQ has donated some subscriptions to CQ magazine, which we'll be giving away as prizes at the Huntsville Hamfest, and we really want to thank you for that.
Our pleasure. We're always happy to help with prizes and stuff like that.
Well, that's great.
Looking forward to coming down to Huntsville. I missed it last year because of a conflict, and it's one of the great shows to go to. And of course, it's also where we present the Young Ham of the Year award with Newsline, which is the prime sponsor. CQ has been a corporate sponsor for many, many years, along with Yaesu, and now I believe RadioWavz is also a co-sponsor, and it's always a great opportunity to really meet and get to know some of the young people who are really the future of our hobby. I've just been going through, I've been fortunate to be on the judging committee for the last who knows how many years, and every year my faith in the future of the hobby is restored. And I was just scanning through the nominations this year. We're probably going to have to make a decision by the end of this week on them, and I'll tell you, these kids are fantastic. It's very hard to make a choice sometimes when you've got some really great kids doing some really great things, and this is one of those years where you've got probably 3 or 4 of our nominees are just all right up there with each other in terms of what they're already doing and what they will likely be doing in the future as well. It's I have great faith in our future every time I go through those nominations.
Well, and we're going to be there to webcast the Young Ham of the Year there. I actually nominated or put a name in a few years ago. A kid down in Texas, his name was Andrew, and tell you, I never saw somebody any sharper than him. I mean, he was teaching astronauts how to work radios and stuff, and I think it was well deserved. And he came down for that, and
yep,
and that was cool. And every year you have somebody just like that, just as sharp. So it's going to be cool. Who'll be there in the CQ booth with you?
John Cummer, our ad manager, is going to be there with me, and of course we usually have a couple of columnists and award managers or contest directors stop by for a little while as well.
All right, we're looking forward to the magazine and also seeing you here on the 20th of August down in Huntsville. I want to thank you for coming on tonight, and we've got probably somebody, well, Emmett, you know Emmett. Emmett's going to be on here tonight, and he's going to be talking about, I think, the Batfish and hex beams and all kinds of stuff. So we're going to move into that segment in just a minute. But, hey, Rich, thank you again very much.
Another corporate co-sponsor of the Young Ham of the Year Award. So
yeah, very good. Well, thank you very much for being with us tonight.
My pleasure. And Dougal says, enough of this, right?
All right. All right, we'll see you. 73 to you. You got to go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so my mic is a little hot. Well, let's see. All right. Well, I was going to connect Emmett. Emmett, if you're listening, you're not online, Emmett. I just talked to him a few minutes ago. He was online then, but he's not now. Okay, so I'm probably hitting the mic a little bit hard. I'll watch that. Guys, the mic audio meter looks terrible on here, and we're running high CPU utilization. We upgraded all the systems to Windows 10. There's Emmett. We upgraded all of our systems to Windows 10. And we've also upgraded.
I just got Rich.
Hey, how
Hi,
you
Rich.
doing? You did what? You got Rich.
Oh, there's Rich. Can you see me now?
I see you. Do you see me?
I see you.
All right, stand
No,
by.
I see Rich on the screen right now.
You're not seeing him, are you?
I see Rich. Second. There we go. Yeah, I'm seeing Rich right now. Can you hear me?
I hear you. You shouldn't be seeing Rich.
Yeah, I see the last frame.
Okay.
Do you want me to hang up and call back?
Yeah, I tried to call you, but you weren't online. Call me back.
It shows I'm online.
Yeah, call me
All right,
back.
I'll hang up and call you back.
Guys, we're working through just a few little problems tonight. Let's see.
Oh, you know what? I think I had my... let me see something.
All right. Well, while you're figuring that out, I'm going to get back to the show. I'll be right back with you. Okay? Are you seeing me okay?
Actually, still see Rich.
Man, you're in the twilight zone.
What do you mean?
You're in the twilight zone. Rich isn't on here anymore.
I know that. No, I just see his picture. That's all.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's do this.
Let me see what's going on here.
Let me make an adjustment here. I don't think there's anything I can do.
Oh, it came in there for
All
a
right,
second.
hang on. I'm working on it.
There you go.
How's that?
I see you now, buddy.
All right. All right. Just stand by. You're interrupting the program. All right. I'll be with you in just a second. Okay, boy. Well, guys, let me tell you, again, we just upgraded all the systems to Windows 10 this week. We had little problems on a couple of them. And this software, we've been using Wirecast, an old version. We upgraded to the newest, latest version of Wirecast. And it's pretty slick on what it does. But I I don't like some of the indicators on here and what it's showing me for the audio and for the CPU utilization. If you can, comment again, just really quick, guys. How is our audio? I'll try to back away from the mic a little bit. I was probably a little too close to it. And just give me a general feel how Rich's audio was and how my audio is. And are the frames coming through okay, or are we buffering or anything like that? I think we're okay. I showed 0 dropped packets since the show started, so we're probably okay. So let's just see what they say there, and I'll get used to this new audio level. Let's say I'm still hot, huh? Push the mic away. I'll just turn it down a little bit. All right, we got the mic turned down a little bit. We'll try it right there. Okay. Hey, we've got Katie in here tonight with us, KY7YL. Actually, she's in the chat room. She's not on the show tonight, but she's in the chat room. And I think Joe, K0NEB, is probably in there. I talked to him earlier, and he was getting a bite to eat, but I'm sure he'll be in the chat room there. Again, wanted to thank everybody at WBCQ, especially Robert, the program operations director there at WBCQ up in Monticello, Maine, for doing a great job of putting our audio in the radio station up there and broadcasting us on 5130 kilohertz. If you hear us out there, send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. Like to hear from you where you are, how the signal was, and also if you want to join our webcast, it's at w5kub.com, and you can watch the webcast and get in the chat room. We've got Emmett Hohensee with us, W0Q8, Chief Engineer RadioWavz, is going to be with us. Let me bring Emmett in here. It looks like he's got a friend with him. Let me see if I can, let's see.
Yeah, it was one of my Lego
there?
stormtroopers that my grandkids have a tendency of leaving in the lab when they're done visiting. How are you, Tom?
I'm
Long time
good.
no see, buddy. It's been a while.
Well, you're probably a busy guy. I think I have followed you at several places around the country or out of the country over the last couple months.
Yeah, quite literally. I saw you up in Dayton. That was a good show.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear that you're coming to the Huntsville Ham Fest, which we really enjoy that show. It's a lot of nice people. You know, it's kind of a laid back atmosphere. Lots of good questions. It's always fun, and the thing I really enjoy is the Young Ham of the Year award. To me, that is just an exciting thing, and I'm really excited to hear that Rich is going to be there again this year, which I always enjoy spending time with Rich. He's a neat guy, lots of stories, and he's got some pretty good insights.
Yeah, and we'll be there, and we'll see you and Rich, and let's all get together and. Hey, let me just ask a question. Some of the people in the chat room might know what I'm talking about, but we generally put on a concert every year. You know, we've kind of set a tradition. I have not heard anything about the concert this year. Rich,
I got to hear from my other band members, because it looks like Don Wilbanks will be there, and then so will Richard. So we got to talk to Richard and see what we want to do with the band.
Yeah. I was talking to Richard. He's up for it. So I had heard that the women were wanting to do a challenge in here, and of course we could have the chat room vote on who the best performance was. But I don't think they'll get enough women together to challenge us there. So anyway,
that would be a fun one. I could see that happening. That would be an excellent concert.
Yeah. Does Rochelle sing? I mean, did she do anything?
No, she wouldn't. She definitely won't go in front of it's hard enough getting her behind a microphone on a radio, let alone get her in front of a screen.
Okay. Well, listen, just real quick. We got Jill Combs on here. KD80. Jill, she's the one that said she wanted to do the challenge. Now, she's saying in the chat room that Kathy won't play. You're not going to play, Kathy? Are you gonna be a part of this, Kathy? She says she has no talent, but she might have to work the camera. I don't know. But anyway, Jill should be able to round up at least 2 or 3 women that have, some, what do you call it, musical, help me with a word here, skills?
Acumen?
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. So, hey, let's get back to this segment with you there, and I know you got 2 or 3 things to talk about. So just go ahead and jump in there.
Well, first I'd like to welcome a couple of people who are on at the chat room right now. It's WW2SUB and WW2OK. That's the WW2SUB is the USS Batfish, and then the WW2OK is the USS Oklahoma Memorial, which is both, pretty much in the same place. Well, the actual boat is in Hawaii, but the submarine is in, believe it or not, Muskogee, Oklahoma. And interesting thing about the USS Batfish, it's a really neat memorial in the sense that it is open. You can just about go through any time of the year during the day, of course. There's a club there, which is WW2SUB and WW2OK, that we operate the radios out of the submarine and out of the memorial. And one of the things that and you've heard us talk about this before, we'll bring kids in like during the museum ships weekend, and then we'll bring them in during the let me turn my audio down here, during the museum ships weekend, and then during the sorry, I got a problem with audio refeedback happening here. Sorry, just a second.
Okay.
Anyway, there we go. It's going away now. Anyway, the museum ships weekend, and then also we have a special thing that we do every year, which is the Pearl Harbor event, where we basically the weekend either of or before the bombing of Pearl Harbor, we'll get the kids on the boat and they'll operate the boats from the radio or from the submarine. And I'm gonna go ahead and share a screen real quick. And right there you see a picture of my son Colorado and my grandson George on the Batfish. They're working a ICOM 7600, and interesting thing is they love spending their time on the boat. It's one of those things that they, once they get on, they don't want to get off, and all kind. Whoops, let me see if I can get that back up there. They really enjoy their time on there. But just recently, we had a problem, and that was we had a tornado come through, and I'm trying to find the. This is a picture of the Batfish at the memorial. I'm going to pop through these pictures fairly quick because there's just so many of them. And there you go. What's really interesting, you go from the highway at night, they light the submarine, so it literally looks like the submarine is underway in the middle of a cornfield.
Well, at least it's in water.
Yeah. If you're not ready for it, it kind of surprises you. But just recently, this is what it used to look like. A bunch of bad weather came through and literally knocked down the tower. As you can see, this looks like a roller coaster on a roller coaster ride. The good news is nobody was hurt, but the tower and the beam and associated equipment has been totaled. And one of the things that the club isn't a big club, so it doesn't have a lot of funds available to basically rebuild. And one of the things that they were, what I was going to talk about is, let me see if I can find another picture here, is if in our listenership here that we could get, let me stop this. Sorry. If we could get some people interested in helping out. Let's see, let me stop. I can't get to, there we go. Am I back yet? Cancel.
Yeah, you're here.
There we go. There I am. Okay.
I've got your face. I don't have any pictures.
Okay, yeah, I took the pictures off because I got lost in my pictures. There's so many of them. One of the things that we that they're looking for is obviously they'd like to replace the tower. Of course, they need a new beam or whatever. And none of the radios were damaged, but it was mostly like the tower. And there's a mast on the submarine itself, which is about a 32-foot mast. Can you believe this? It was a stainless steel whip antenna that was mounted to the conning tower that broke off. and we'd like to be able to do some replacements on that. But I guess the big thing is, if anyone out there knows of anybody who has a crank-up tower, something about 50, 60 feet that they want to get rid of or donate, the club would greatly appreciate it. I can't begin to tell you how many kids have gone through that submarine and operated from the submarine. When we do these weekends, a lot of the times the kids stay on the sub, which is absolutely cool. And as a matter of fact, it's kind of fun because you never have to worry about where the kids are. They're always on the boat. We'll go off and do something, and we're going, okay, where are the kids? Oh, they're on the boat, so we don't ever have to worry about it. One of the if you're interested in helping out, you can go to QRZ. The information is current on QRZ, which is and it'd be the WW2 SUB or WW2 OK. And both Wade and Paul are online right now in the chat room. If you have questions, you can ask them about where to send information, donations, and stuff like that. That would be greatly appreciated, because I'd really hate to lose this resource, for the kids. And we do have a event coming up in December. The weekend before December 7th is the once again the oh darn, whatchamacallit, what is it called? The Pearl Harbor Memorial, and it's a very solemn event. The kids learn a lot about history, and they get to get on the air. And anyway, that's a whole lot to talk about. It could almost be a session in itself, but that's kind of the way it is. If you have any questions, though, you can contact the people at the club at it's 3 W's at or www.ww2sub.org, and you should be able to contact them and get the information for donations. They will accept donations, so just you can mail it to them, send them a check, money order, whatever. That would be great. If you have a tower, a crank-up tower, and a beam maybe, but we're trying to work something out on the beam side, that would be greatly appreciated.
Emmett, I've got a tri-band. I've got a Moseley Classic 33 tri-band beam that I just took down out of a barn this month. I'm not going to put it up. It's been in the barn for about 11 or 12 years. I used it for a long time. That would be something, but that's something that's pretty big to ship, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But especially for instance, like towers and stuff like that, if it's within a reasonable area, as in my case, it's the St. Louis, Illinois, Texas, Oklahoma, those areas, the club members, if we can arrange pickups, will probably, if someone's in the area, can come pick it up.
Well, put my name down. I've got a Classic 33 Moseley tri-bander. If somebody can use it up here.
Or if you can bring it out to the Huntsville Hamfest, I can make sure that the people up in Oklahoma get it.
I guess I could tie that on top of the truck. I could probably
That'd
bring
be one heck of a mobile. What, don't you think? I love that. That's a great idea.
I mean, I've got it apart, and I've got it.
I'm sure we can come up with a mount for that.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see, because the problem is if I put that rack on top of that camper top, it does not fit in garages. And my problem is I would probably not tear the garage up, but I'd tear the truck up. But anyway, let me think about it. Let me look at it.
We could coordinate something. Maybe we could work something out where we drop it off at Gigaparts or something like that. Or if whatever. You and I talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul says we'll figure it out. I know Paul's going to be probably down in Huntsville as well. So, the good news is at the Huntsville show there'll probably be someone there from the show. I mean from the club.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, the next part of this our little discussion tonight is we're going to be talking about hex beams, and then we're also going to be talking about what's new. And then the other thing is I'm really excited about a couple new things that are getting ready to happen. You know, HRO is opening up their new store up in Milwaukee. They're, you know, AES, I'm very sad to say, is leaving us after 60 plus years. But the good news is that HRO is opening up, you know, reopening the doors up in a you know, as a new superstore, and to me that's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. October, they're going to have a whole series of open houses or grand opening, kind of a weekend type thing, and I'm excited about that. We're gonna spend some time up there, set up some antennas, do some talking, and hopefully get to see some of the Milwaukee, Chicago people. That's going to be exciting. But anyway, on with funnier and crazier things. We're going to talk about the hex beam. Anyone interested about hearing about hex beams?
Well, I am. In fact, some people have sent some questions in on Facebook already for my posting.
Okay, do you got my screen yet?
Got it, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start the presentation real quick. Start the beginning. Okay, I'll move my little...
Click on that little picture up there.
Yeah, I got it out there.
There you go.
Okay, basically... there's a picture of my son HJ right there. He's literally set up that hex beam for a guy to help him out on a wooden spool and a tripod. And this man has literally talked around the world, which I thought is kind of cool. The hex beams is an interesting product area that you just kind of at first you don't really know what to think, and many people just say hex beam, what is that? Not really anything too exciting. As a matter of fact, George, who was the head purchasing person and vice president at HRO many years ago before he passed, told me that pulled me to the side and says, Emmett, you need to start looking at these hex beams. It's the perfect antenna for you guys to build. And of course, at first when I saw that it was a beam, we build wire antennas, so I really, the whole idea of building a beam wasn't too exciting for me. But as we started working, as I started playing with the idea, I got addicted to it, especially after the first one I built. It's one of those antennas that it's like, now that I've built one, now that I'm using them, it's hard to not go anywhere and not have one. So you might say that building these hex beams has kind of become a passion for me. So anyway, what is a hex beam? Okay, this, of course, you know who this is right down here, right? Anyone who's been to Huntsville knows this is Zoe and a couple of our friends from Illinois over at the Lewis and Clark Radio Club. We set up an antenna one afternoon. So what is a hex beam? A hex beam is basically a two-element Yagi in the shape of a W. One of the big advantages of that is that it doesn't take up all the space that a normal, let's say, two-element beam at those frequencies would take up. So basically, how did it get its shape? Okay, the hex beam is a two-element beam in Yagi in a W shape. Well, it all started with the Yagi. Where'd it go? Okay, and as you can see, the Yagi would basically be a full half-wave antenna with a reflector at about a quarter wavelength behind. So let's do the math real quick. Let's say 20 meters. 20 meters would be about 33 feet wide and 16 feet long. So you're looking at least a 30-foot or plus turning radius. And in many cases, people just do not have that yard space. So it started with the Yagi, but they decided to they took up too much space. So in comes Mr. Moseson. And that antenna design is a really good antenna. It has some pretty decent gain, a really good front to back ratio, meaning that when you point the antenna in the direction you're trying to listen, the stuff behind the antenna generally gets canceled out. And of course, that cuts back about 20% of the space that you'd normally take. And then another design that came in was the reflected M. You'll be familiar with this in the sense that some spider beam antennas are based on that design. The nice thing about that antenna is it's compact, but yet the only problem is because it's so compact, it has a tendency of peaking on a certain frequency on a band, but it doesn't do well on the other bands. And then you have the reflected W. The reflected W basically, it's about 30% less the size of a normal 20-meter hex beam. Okay, for instance, the standard hex beam that we make is only 20 meters from side to side, so that's a 10 foot turning radius. versus a 15-foot turning radius, which is, you know, considerably smaller. And then, of course, there's a picture of how it all looks. You've got your reflector wire right back here, and then you got your driver, and then you got your coaxial feed point, and then this is pretty much the direction of the beam. Now, I can't see Tom, I can't see anyone on the chat because of the way my screen is set up. So if you have any questions, go ahead and interrupt me.
Well, one of the questions that you've already answered is how big is the hex beam? Of course, I guess it makes a difference. Do you sell a 40-meter hex beam?
Oh, we sure do.
So that's going to be larger. That's going to be larger than a 20-meter.
Right here's our 20-meter hex beam, and you can see it's total 21 feet. It really is actually about 20 feet, but I say 21 because I want to be safe instead of sorry. We've done some other things. We've added on a broadband element, which gives you the ability to listen on 80. You can transmit on 40 through 30, 40, 60, 30. And I've got some people that this is their main antenna because they're able to do 40 through 6. And it's all in one antenna, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and it's not that hard to set up. This is our 40-meter hex beam. The 40-meter hex beam, yeah, it's about it's about twice the size. It's about 42 feet from side to side. It's a 20-foot turning radius, but it gives you 40 meters through 10 meters. And you know that if anyone was at Dayton, you could not miss our 40 meters Barrett on top of that 60-foot tower, and literally that antenna was heard around the world, which was exciting, and it's fun. I mean, on the 40 meter, being able to talk 40 meters and being able to point in any direction you want to talk, to me that's exciting. Instead of having to mess with multiple wire antennas that aren't necessarily the best performance for what we're trying to do. So how does this
Emmett,
perform?
There's a question here about how heavy it is. Somebody mentioned 15 pounds. Now, we had a show 2 weeks ago where we put up a hex beam at my friend's house in some tower, and that was a 20 meter and up hex beam, so it'd be smaller. But I would imagine it weighed at least 25 pounds or more.
Well, our standard 20-meter Sentinel weighs 19 pounds, and that if you add the broadband unit, it goes up to 25 pounds.
Is that with a mast pipe in it?
No, that's without the mast pipe.
So that's probably about the same weight here. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you add the mast pipe, as in the center support that gets connected to your rotator, then yeah, it'd probably be about 25 pounds.
And that's how we took it up. We took it up with a mast pipe on it and then just dropped it down in. Got a question that came in as we told people about the show. I got a question that came in, and the question was, why is your hex beam limited? I think they said to 200 watts. Is that true?
No, the hex beam isn't limited to 200 watts. The broadband unit is limited to 200 watts in its basic configuration for it's 200 watts. It's 200 watts CW and 500 watt single sideband. But our antennas are rated for full power.
Well, that's what I thought, and you may use some type balun in your system or some kind of matching thing. Now, I've looked at plans, and this would be, a lot of us hams are home brewers, and we like to build this kind of stuff, with scrap wire and fishing poles and stuff like that. So, I'm interested in stuff like this, and I looked at on the internet. There's plans for building them, and it looked like the one I looked at, the feed mechanism between each of the different elements was just like RG8, just 3 inches, 5 inches, so forth, and they just tapped into it there. I would imagine if you built something like that and you use like RG8, you could probably handle more power. And again, that's no real matching, but it was amazing. We put an antenna analyzer on it, and I have never seen such low SWR on all the bands, and the impedance was right at 50 ohms.
Yep. The what's been the what's been exciting is literally starting in Orlando. We helped set up the event station in Orlando using our 40-meter hex beam, and that came right out of the box. We set it up, and it was working.
You know,
We didn't have to do anything to it, and it was literally 25 feet in the air.
Here's another question. You know, how hard to tune the SWR? Well, my friend had bought that one. There was no tuning. He just put the wire. He just put the wires on there. There was absolutely zero tuning. Right.
In our situation, I have a bus that I designed specifically for the hex beam, and it's a 50 ohm. And this is the reason why we can go full power. It's a 50 ohm balanced feed. It literally is a bus that's designed specifically to work at 50 ohms, and then it feeds at the very top. But what's been nice about it is we've built so many of these. We literally have a wire pulling jig. It's not really even a jig. It's literally a table that's designed just for pulling wires. And we mark on the table exactly where the wires go. And those wires get cut at that location. So that way every antenna we know has exactly the same lengths, everything. So you're not going to have to mess with, bringing things to resonance or whatever. As a matter of fact, in this picture you see right now, this was literally at the Texas Hamvention in Dallas, or actually in Las Colinas, and we literally set it right up there on the pavilion, and within a couple minutes it was up and running, and we didn't have to do anything to it. And it's literally, it's up there. I mean, it's like 5 stories up as it is, and then that crank up tower that we use is about another 20 feet. But literally the antenna we didn't have to do anything with.
So I've noticed a lot of times with dipoles and inverted V's, the impedance changes, I guess, as you move higher and higher away from ground. But this was tested at about 6 feet off the ground. He was making contacts at 6 feet off the ground, and we moved it up. It's a 20 meter. We moved it up to probably about 35, 36 feet in the air, and we didn't see any change. In many cases, that will be the case. However, you will notice that when you go up or you move away from, let's say, metal ground or whatever, things might change a little bit. The frequencies will start to move up a little. But the antenna itself is so broad-banded that it generally doesn't affect, the areas that you're going to want to talk in. And by the way, here's a picture of our people were asking about the gain and the front-to-back ratio. That blue line is basically the what it looks like when it's transmitting out to the horizon, and then the red line is basically, in other words, as you point it, that's the direction that the signal goes. And you have about a 7 to 8 dB gain forward. You have a 20 dB front-to-back ratio, which that's considerable when it comes to canceling out noises when you don't want to listen to someone. So why is why was your pattern there skewed a little bit to the right? It looked like the blue one. If you can go back, you're right. It looks like it's. Looks like it's leaning to the right a little bit. See how the red one is centered and the blue one's kind of... Well, that's because this is the ground right here, okay? Uh-huh. And this is the horizon over here. Okay, and so literally this is the radiation angle, and I'll show you with the next picture. There you go. It looks just like that. Actually, see how that works? Yeah. There we go. There you go. That works a little bit better. How's that? Yeah, looks good. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what you're looking for. The advantage of this over a lot of these other antennas is that it's not a laser beam. You talk about the multi-element beams that are out there, where you point at it and you can't hear anything else except for what you're pointing at. What this does is it gives you, kind of the better of both worlds. You can point in the general area that you want to talk to. You can pick up a lot of people that you wouldn't normally be able to pick up because you've got a little bit more gain going in that direction. Plus, the energy that you're transmitting as far as your radiation is going in the direction that you're talking versus going out everywhere, like on a dipole where you've got you got radiation going up, you got radiation going back. In this case, all the energy is going forward. It's going into one direction, not all over the place.
So anyway, what basically you get with this, you get basically 6 bands of you can work with basically 6 bands, full power, 1 feed point. In my mind, that is definitely, sorry, I don't know what that is. That is definitely a plus when it comes to setting it up. And it takes, for our antenna, first time out, it'll probably take you about an hour to set it up. But once you've done it once or twice, it takes me at a show anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes to set them up.
Yeah, I love the single feed point. You bring one coax down for all bands.
Yeah, and as you can see, the feed point's just literally right up there, and it goes all the way down. When you add the broadband antenna or the broadband element, there's one more feed to it.
So Emmett, let me ask you a question. And the hex beam that my friend and I put up for him, the feed point was at the top. Yeah, I'm sure it was a different brand than this, but why is the feed point at the top? Why couldn't you put the feed point at the bottom? Because, man, if you have to go up there and change the coax out, you can't reach that.
Well, it actually turns out that the impedance at the 20 meter feed, it works out a lot better when it comes to getting a more balanced, how do I say this? In other words, we get consistent SWR readings all the way down the bus versus starting out at the 6 meter side. SWRs seem to creep up just a little bit and impedance shifts just a little. So it just seems to work out that at feeding at the 20 meter side, it works out a lot better. And then here's a little, I'm going to play this little video for you real quick. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it.
We're not hearing anything.
Okay, basically this is during the New York QSO party, and this is one of my friends at with the Lewis and Clark Club. We literally set up his hex beam in his backyard. See that on his tripod, and his first contact was on a Kenwood radio, no tuner, hooked right up to the antenna. His first contact was New York at literally 3 feet off the ground, which is not too bad. And you kind of can see the conditions weren't exactly the best in the world, but that kind of made for some fun. But the hex beams really have turned out to be an exciting product for us, and it's an interesting study. We're constantly innovating and changing. We've got a couple products that are designed for literally going into the field, as in like for field day. We had 6 units out. Even ICOM had 2 of our hex beams set up at their field day station. Okay, so the next thing is what's new. We've got a new product out. It's not really even a beam, but it looks like a beam anyway. It's our Scout antenna, which is, imagine this, for people who are HOA impaired, want to be able to just go out someplace, set up an antenna real quick, pop it up about 10, 15 feet in the air, and be on the air. This is an excellent antenna. It gives you 20 meters through 10 meters. It's omnidirectional, meaning that you don't have to rotate it. So we've already had...
Is that a loop configuration on each band?
No, it's actually a dipole.
What is?
And what you're seeing, right? Basically the thing right in the middle. Those are little spreader ties. Yeah. That are keep the elements separated. But it's omnidirectional. It's horizontally polarized. It's only 8 feet wide, and it has the gain of a dipole. And the advantage of this is that not a lot of energy is going shooting up in the air. It's shooting out to the sides. So even though you've got the gain of a dipole, you're only doing this in 8 feet of space, which is fantastic.
So I see this. It looks like the feed point's down on the picture toward the bottom edge here. Or,
it's not really bottom, it's on the side. It's
on
right
the side, but lower on the picture. And then you've just got insulators up there at the top.
Yep.
Now, my question to a radio engineer is, all right, if those are dipoles, they're probably, half wave. I guess they're half wave.
Yes, they are.
Half wave. I'm thinking, okay. First I was thinking, why don't you just make it a full wave loop? But that would be a lot bigger, wouldn't it? Because
it'd be double the size.
It'd be double the size. Yeah.
Yeah. the idea that the idea behind this was that it's not a new idea, but the thing we deal a lot with people who are restricted with HOAs and so on. This design looks so close to a regular TV antenna. We've actually got some people who took down their TV antenna and put this up in its place, and no one has given them a hard time about it, and they're on the air now, which is cool. A good example is one fun thing is at the Batfish this last time out. This was the first antenna on the air for the Museum Ships weekend. We literally drove up, and within, let's say, 10-15 minutes, we had the antenna up and the station on the air, and our first contact was Venezuela. Not bad from Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got that. Come on. Waiting for my, there we go. This gives you an idea what the radiation pattern of the antenna is. You can see it's kind of squat, okay? So it's not shooting straight up and down. You got a lot of stuff going off to the side. It's basically the same gain as a dipole. And you see how it looks like a bean? You know, this is the radiation pattern on the sides, which is nice.
Yeah.
So you're not wasting a lot of energy shooting it straight up in the air. You're shooting it out to the sides. And that's kind of what makes this antenna work as far as being able to get on the air and actually have people hear you. You're not like a regular dipole, where in a dipole, you know, you'd be sending energy up straight up in the air that, you know, most people would never not be using. And now we're basically shooting it off to the side, which gives you a little bit more gain to the sides, which that's why we're calling it, you know, it's horizontally polarized. It's not vertical, and it works quite well. Here's another. And there you go. That what's been fun about this is this gives you an idea of what it looks like on an SWR meter. Not too bad, huh?
Not too bad.
That's 2017. 2017, 15, 12, and 10. And they're right on, which is nice.
Yep.
And that's it for the presentation side of things.
So, Emmett, let me, if I didn't want to interrupt your thing here with phone calls, but let me put the phone number up. There's a lot of interest in this hex beam, and let's see if we can get any callers that want to ask some questions.
Sure.
About this. There's been a lot of interest here. Let me see. All right, I just put the phone number up on the site, guys. So if you want to call in, it's 901-286-1116. Call in and talk to Emmett, W0Q8, Chief Engineer at RadioWavz, and we will answer your questions about the hex beam. So, Emmett, you're going to be setting one up again inside the Hamfest at Huntsville this year?
Oh, most definitely. We're going to be setting one up for the Huntsville Hamvet. Yeah, we'll be definitely there. Plus, we'll have our hex beam set up there as well.
Okay, cool. All right.
Actually, we'll probably have one of our newer hex beams as well. We did. I did a expedition to Dry Tortuga, and we had a what we call our expedition antenna, which is a lighter weight version. The thing only weighed 16 pounds, 15 pounds, and fit in a little bag. It took us about 15-20 minutes to set up the whole antenna, which was not bad at all.
All right. Well, we got a lot of shy people out there. Nobody calling in yet. 901. 286.
Yeah, it's not a half-wave loop antenna. Andrea, it's actually a dipole, but what we've done is instead of sticking the line straight out in let's say on 20 meters, the 32 feet, we literally wrapped it around. And by doing that, we've really reduced our space, and we've gotten a really nice we're able to make things small. So people who don't have a lot of space, who want to be able to put their antenna up in an attic, which we've already got several of these in people's attics. We've got situations where people literally crank this thing up at night and then crank it back down during the day. Or They'll take it out with them when they go camping, pop it up in the air. What's really kind of working out nice, and I think that's one of the reasons why we called it the Scout, is it's like an Indian Scout. You stick it out there, you pop it up in the air, you can listen to what's going on, you can talk to people, and when you're done, bring it back down, and you can move someplace else, which is nice.
Well, we answered a lot of questions on the chat room. Surely somebody has one, so we need to test the phone line too. So 901-286-1116.
Yeah, Crotalis, I think it is, made a note about wind loading on a hex beam is so light you can use a TV rotator. We do have quite a few people that use the heavier duty Winegard rotators on their antennas, and they actually just put it right up there on the eave of the roof, and it works just fine for them, which is kind of cool.
Well,
what's the feed point, Gary? What's the feed point like? The feed point is 50 ohms, so it just. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find a picture of it real quick, and I'll pull it up for you and get you a copy of it and let you take a look at it. And while I'm doing that, I'll be talking to you.
Wind speed rating on it.
What's that?
Wind speed rating.
I haven't really done the calculations, but it should be able to handle quite a bit. Here we go. I'll give you an idea of. Let me send this to you.
Well, the tower has surely much more wind load than the antenna does.
Almost that. Oh, you mean on the
wind load wind.
Oh, on the hex beam?
Yeah.
Oh, on the hex beam, it's less than 2 square feet.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the hex beam sell for? Question.
$650.
Well, that seems a little steep to cheap hams, but you know what? That's,
the thing is,
it gets you every band.
If I could only tell you how many hours it takes to build one hex beam.
Oh yeah.
Every one of the antennas that we build in that whole category are pretty much handcrafted. Yeah. So there's a lot of attention to detail. A lot of time goes into building these things, and quite often we don't skimp. We're not. We don't just throw this crap together. We don't sit things up with a chop saw and just cut things up and throw it in a box and say, here you go. We've actually spent the time and pre-assembled most of the components on this antenna so that when you get it, it's ready to go. You're not going to get a 100-page manual saying, okay, cut this wire this long. And, oh, by the way, if you accidentally cut it too long, you can order this part number and we'll send you a replacement.
But, Emmett, I haven't kept up with, I use all-wire antennas here just to keep them stealth and,
right.
Anyway, I don't even know what a tri-band, this is more than a tri-band, this is just about all band, but I don't even know what a tri-band or multi-band Yagi costs nowadays.
A tri-band is basically 3 bands. It's 20 meters, I think 15 meters, and 10 meters. So
I would imagine they sell for probably, what's a beam like it costs nowadays in comparison?
Upwards of $700, $800 plus.
Yep.
By the way, this is what it looks like when it's all ready to when we get it ready to set up. Now I've already put the wires on for when I transport it. What you do is you get all the wires. You got to put the wires on yourself. But when you put it up, that's kind of what it'll look like when it's all done. And you can see right here. Whoops. Move things around. Right there's your feed point. You see you got the coax coming out right there.
Yeah.
Then it goes right along, comes down, and then down. And what we do suggest sometimes is you go ahead and attach a like a common mode choke. Doesn't hurt. There you go. This is the day before the museum ships weekend, and here's the picture of the Scout. Just before we put basically, this is a simple push-up pole right here.
Yep.
By the way, this flagpole is now gone. There's a little thing over here on the museum itself is all gone. The fence itself got torn up as well. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. There's our portable hex beam with the. See how high that is? He literally Ian literally talked to Venezuela. Here we go. Let me see if I got that picture for you. Here we go. This is the Scout. This is the Sentinel, and then there's your tri-beam, your tri-bander right there in the background. So when I'm doing this, I can't see the if you have any questions, so I have to rely on you to ask. There we go. Okay, I'm back.
There you are.
Don't mind the 7300 back there. That's been a fun radio to play with.
I'm looking at that. I'd buy me one, but Kathy tells me I've got to get rid of one of my radios if I get a new one.
Well, originally, I was kind of hemming and hawing about it, and I'm thinking, can't take a 7600 in the field that much. But I'll tell you what, the 7300 really comes close. And I like all the new features on the 7600. It's been a really cool radio so far. And as you can see, I've got it set up in a nice little case so I can take it just about anywhere. I take it in the field with me when I do our field testing and so on.
Yeah, Emmett, VK4P JPA wants to know if you can make one that would include the 80-meter band, maybe using loading coils or traps to keep the size down.
We do make we have, for instance, our 40-meter. We've got a 40-meter version. We had our 40-meter hex beam, which is 41 feet. Let me see if I got that picture for you. And what we've done is we've got a broadband unit that we built for it that will give you 160 meters and 80 meters. It's not as efficient as a full half-wave two-element Yagi, but what it does do is it gives you on 80 meters the directivity of a rotatable dipole, which is nice. So yeah, we do something that's 80 meters. Just look at the RadioWavz Barrett, and that is our 40-meter hex beam with a broadband element on it. I'm see if I can find it real quick. Did you get any other questions while I'm digging this thing up?
Yeah, does it perform okay at 10 to 20 feet high? As you were showing a minute ago, the guy was working DX at about 4 feet off the ground, and my friend was using his hex beam over there on a little tripod about 5 feet off the ground.
Yep. I've got, well, you saw the one picture where where we had the hex beam sitting on a wood spool and basically an 8 foot mast, and he's literally talked around the world with it.
All right, here's a question. What about portable rotation? I guess just turn it by hand. I mean, it'd be easy to turn.
Okay, here's the our hex beam, our Sentinel at the ICOM headquarters for the field day, and what they literally did was they had all these. The poles are all tied together except for down here at the bottom, and what they did is when they rotate it, they just rotate it by hand, Armstrong.
Yeah, and
that worked out quite well for them. Here's another one for you. This is our. You've probably seen these young ladies and this young man quite often. They have it literally set up 10 feet off the ground, right next to their trailer, and it was that was their operation down in Florida.
Yep. Hey, let me ask you a question about antennas in general and some lightning here. And there was an article several years ago in one of the ham radio magazines where you mount a tower section. Like if you've got a walk-in attic, you could mount a tower section in your attic and take your mast pipe through the roof through a like one of those pipe boots or whatever you call it.
Right.
And you could have your rotor and everything inside, and you could turn it, and it worked fine. But then we started thinking, I had a friend that was going to do that. He had all the parts to do it. But then he started thinking about lightning, man. How would it be to get a lightning hit in that thing in the attic? Yeah.
Well, in the attic, if it's in the attic, you probably won't have a problem with lightning striking an antenna in the attic.
No. I'm talking about the antenna was above the roof. The mast pipe went through the roof.
Well, you definitely have to run a safety ground.
Yeah.
By the way, here's a picture of the ICOM setup for the hex beam. They had a you'll see they have a combiner right here, and then they have these bandpass filters, which allowed them to hook up to 3 radios to the one antenna. Which that was a game changer for them. They love the idea of being able to just hook things up. Wow. And have work wherever the antenna is pointing, you've got 3 radios that you can work. Mm-hmm. There you go. Here's one of our 40-meter hex beams in South Dakota. It's kind of funny as the antenna is almost as big as the house.
Oh yeah.
That's our Barrett. There you go. This is another one of our Barretts. He's got the broadband Sentinel on there, and David is a RIDI. I call him David RIDI instead of David Bibby, because he's a RIDI madman. He does full power RIDI, and so the answer to the question is yes. Our hex beams can do full power. We do suggest if you're doing with RIDI, we strongly suggest that you do some upgrades. Just the one thing we've experienced with more than 500 watts of power with RIDI is we have a corona effect issue that we got to take care of, and that's done by increasing the wire size and so on. But that's for the serious RIDI contesters. Here you go, Tom. Here's that hex beam right there, and that's this one right here. That's it right there in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
So that wasn't too bad. I kind of like that. Everything was just right where we wanted it to be. Okay, try and close all these out real quick.
Well, it was amazing to me.
And for your reference, this is to give you an idea. These are our bus bars for our 40-meter hex beams prior to painting, and then there's our hubs. We've got a batch of them getting ready to go out the door. Okay, there we go. Let me stop sharing. Okay, how much isolation? Let's see, WB8 or Jim. What do you mean by how much isolation?
I think he's talking about those combiners or whatever ICOM was using.
That would be they were using the Dunstar, and so I think it's like 40 dB, which isn't too bad. And yes, the magic of the Paul, thank you, WW2OK, which, by the way, WW2OK is from the Batfish as well, Paul. And so is WW2SUB, which is Wade. He is, by the way, the trustee of the club. So he's the one who has to work with. There we go. Yeah, Wade answered the question. Gives about 16 dB isolation between the bands, which makes it really nice as far as being able to use one antenna and multiple radios.
Well, we had a lot of questions.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Yeah. I'll be here. I can work with you.
Yeah, I think you'll have an order about 5 or 6 of them tomorrow. How quick can you turn them out?
You know what? I'm excited to hear that you're going to be at the Huntsville Ham Fest. I really am, because I really enjoy spending time with you and your lovely wife. Let me see if I can find this one. Yeah. Anyway, it was field day was exciting for us. I got to stay home, which was kind of cool, and listen to everybody else, get set up and get operational.
Well, we stayed home too and did a webcast and brought about 10 or 12 locations from across the country in.
Well, as a matter of fact, you were talking to them. They were using that. They were using their screwdriver antenna, and as soon as they got off the air with you, they set up the hex beam.
Yeah, the down in Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they hadn't set it up yet at the time that we had them on the show. But it was down here. It was probably over 100, and it was really nice being here in the shack with the air conditioner running, doing field day.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was talking to James, and he was talking about how he was sweating like crazy. By the way, I just pasted the mailing information. That would be USS Oklahoma and Batfish ARC care of. Oops, sorry. I did this a little backwards.
I don't think you pasted it, did you?
Yeah, it'll show up on your.
Well,
there. Let's see. Does the mast rotate, or can it be the PVC pipe? The mast does not radiate, and I don't suggest a PVC pipe because it's not that strong. Normally, you can easily use like a 1 1/4 inch EMT pipe, or any OD pipe that's basically 1.5 inches. You can use aluminum or whatever, and it sits nicely on top of the pole. You can just clamp it down, and then you can just basically hand rotate it. If we're talking about the Scout, yeah, you can use PVC because it's lightweight. As a matter of fact, I've got a couple people that use the MFJ push-up poles, and they just push it up there, get it up about 25 feet, and they're up and running.
I hear a little bit of noise. You sure you don't have a tornado outside your window there?
Yeah, it's like there's some feedback happens every once in a while. I don't know what the deal is. Let's see. It really looks. I was looking for a lightweight that could be rotated by the portable rotator. Yes, as a matter of fact, we've got a couple of our smaller hex beams, like our 10 meter, our 6 meter, 10 meter, and so on. We have a good working relationship with those people. As a matter of fact, when you see them at some of the hamfests, they're using a couple of our smaller hex beams and use the rotator. The newer lightweight hex beam that we've got would probably work, but just understand it's not designed for super heavy duty use, so that that hex beam itself is more for, let's get it out into the park, let's set it up and get on the air fairly quick. You can use that rotator, yes. Yeah, that was a Scout. Yeah, Kathy, what do you got?
No, she was asking for questions.
Oh yeah, the Scout information is on. You have to go to our. It's not on our main website yet, but it is in our store, online store. So you have to go to the online store, and that information will be there. Okay, Kathy, what do you got?
Are you asking Kathy for a question?
Yeah, she says, Kathy, questions. Oh, questions for Emmett. Oh, okay. I thought she was trying to get my attention.
Yeah. Okay, well, our VK4 down under, he's been with us all night. He says thank you. He has to go. He has to take someone to an appointment. So seemed like he was really interested in this antenna, and there's been a lot of people interested in. I tell you, after I saw the one I helped put up, man, I was sold on it.
Well, what was really fun was during Dayton when we set up that big old. Now think about this: we set up the 40-meter hex beam. We had these OM amplifiers that are rated at 3,500 watts. We had the ICOM 7851. We had a lot of money sitting behind those antennas. And think about this. We just pulled it out of the box. We set it up on the tower. We hooked up the coax to it, and we were on the air. It doesn't get much easier than that.
That is easy, man.
VK4 JPA. Thanks for being here. It was good to thank you for the questions too. And oh, by the way, AB9SY, if you want, you can call tomorrow. Just talk to Rochelle. She'll be more than happy to guide you where she needs to go. We've also got a Dropbox set up with pictures of the Scout and all that neat stuff. Pretty much a lot of the stuff that you saw today.
All right, Emmett, I think we've answered most of the questions. We're going to probably move on to our hangout here and see how many people want to join us on Hangout, and looking forward to seeing you here in a few weeks. Please get with the other band members and let's find out if we're going to do anything. All right.
I'm deaf. It's probably going to be another Blues Brothers song. So.
Well, I need to know what I need to know what attire and also what instruments to bring. So let's plan this. Let's plan this ahead of time.
I'll touch bases with Richard tomorrow and we'll see what we can do. And Don Wilbanks. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
All right, sounds good. Well, 73, and thanks a lot for giving us a
Thanks
tour of the hex beam and the Batfish and everything tonight. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Have a good one, Tom.
All right, that was Emmett Hohensee, W0QH, Chief Engineer of RadioWavz. And it's always fun to talk to Emmett. He really knows antennas. Yeah, we're going to go to Hangout. Kathy will put the link in the chat room there for everybody, and we'll do Hangout here in just a moment. Again, I want to say hello to all of our listeners listening on shortwave on WBCQ out there. And again, thanks to Robert, the ops director there at WBCQ, for getting our audio fine-tuned and into the transmitter each night. And special thanks to station owner Alan Weiner up in Monticello, Maine, for getting us on WBCQ on 5130 kilohertz. And if you're listening out there, still not too late to join us on the internet, w5kub.com. You can watch the show and check in the chat room with us. Huntsville's coming up, in about 4 weeks. I think it's the 20th. I think on the show next week, we're going to try to have Charlie Emerson on. We're going to be talking a lot about Huntsville. Maybe we'll have some pictures. Maybe we get Joe Eisenberg to pull out some of the Huntsville pictures to show the size of this thing and the quality of this ham fest. It's inside the Von Braun Center. It's air conditioned. It is so nice. You would love it if you can get there. So that's where we're going to be in a few weeks. Join us on Facebook. Again, let me remind everybody out there, we really, really would like you to join our webcast Facebook group. There's a link at the top of our page. Just click on Facebook or Twitter, and you can join our Facebook group. There are links across the top that, for instance, if you click on the news, you'll see what's been on previous shows. You can also see what's coming up on future shows. Also, you can click on archives, and you can see all the previous shows we've done. And Amateur Radio Roundtable has now been on about probably about 16 or 17 months. So I'm real glad that we've been able to hang in here this long. As I mentioned earlier, we upgraded a lot of equipment. We've got new software that does the webcast, and tonight was the first night we've used it, so we're trying to learn it and see what bugs we find, and see some things I feel like I need to look into. I hope the audio and the video quality was good for you guys tonight. Some of you might comment overall how well the audio and video worked with the show tonight. That would be good feedback for me to match up to some of the stats I get on the program here that's telling me we got some slight problems with application and CPU usage. Let's see. I think that Kathy's put the link out there. Let me see if I can get on it. Well, either I'm the first person or the system's not working right. Trying to get on it. I've got a clock right now. So is there anybody in the Hangout? Tell me in the chat room if you're on the Hangout, and if you are. Okay. Don't see anybody there yet. Maybe I'm in the wrong Hangout. Oh, there's Bill. Bill joined us. Let's see if I can get Bill in here.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, how you doing? Let me see if I can figure out how to work these new things here. There we go. We got Bill in there. He's a regular and on Hangout. Now, we can take up to 10 people. Let me see how I can do this. We can take up to 10 people that calls in a show on Hangout at a time, and when you talk, your picture goes full screen. So we can bring you into the show. This is the part where we just kind of sit around a coffee table and we talk about anything you want to talk about. So click that link and join the show. If you don't want to get on with the video, you can try the telephone. You can dial the phone number. Let's see if I can move the phone number where we can read it. There we go. You can try to...
I'm not seeing your video, Tom.
Oh, you're not seeing my video. Okay.
No.
Let me fix that. I'll be glad to fix that. All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to hang up. Let's see, camera on. That, you getting me now? No.
Oh, hi, Emmett.
Yeah, Emmett's not gone. This is the old, this is what happened earlier. Let me do something here. Let me stop this external display and turn it back on, see if that makes a difference.
Wow.
There you go. You should be seeing us now.
And there you are. Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. Hey, 901-286-1116 if you want to call on the phone, or you can check in with the link on Hangout.
You know, I like this new system that you got there, Tom. It's a little more up to date.
Well, you know, it does a few different things. Let me take my lower third off. I mean, I could put scrolling text on. How you like it? I put some scrolling text across the bottom. Different messages. Do some fancy stuff, you know.
Yeah, well,
we can do all kinds of fancy
I'm having
things.
difficulty stuff there. It's below my status line here, so.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know where everybody. Okay.
We have a new guy.
We got the other Bill in here tonight. How you doing? Your forehead's healing up a little bit there. Looking better.
Yeah,
I don't see a big bandage on it tonight.
Yeah, that's got the stitches come out Friday. That's my little incision.
Well,
About 2 inches long.
I was waiting to see if Doc was on here tonight. We'll get Doc to take a look at it if you can give a real close up.
Yeah, that's one chunk of skin cancer they took off right there.
Well, it'll heal there. It looks like they did a pretty good job on you.
Yeah.
It looks like the skin came back together there, and they closed the hole up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting show on the hex beam. Don't have one. I got a tri-bander up. In fact, I just got from RadioWavz today in the mail.
Oh, you got the double bazooka in. Cool.
I haven't even opened the pack. I've got an 80-meter double bazooka up that I use for 80, and I like it. So my 40-meter dipole is pretty well had it. So I decided to order another one. Got the 40-meter. I'll put this up this week.
Okay, I see a note from Russ in the chat room, K0GBK. Russ, he's saying my tour video is in the upper right-hand screen. Maybe he meant your video. My video, your video is in the upper right. I'm not sure what he means. Yeah, I mean, right now I've got a picture-in-picture of me up in the upper right-hand, and everybody else that's on Hangout, they're full screen.
Yeah, I don't even see much of you up there. You're up in the right-hand corner way. I've got my screen adjusted here.
Oh, okay.
But I know you're there.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, if I ever take my tri-bander down, it was down or something, put something else up. Yeah, X-beam looked like a neat thing.
I was so surprised when I saw this one. I mean, I felt like you're gonna have to, adjust the wire length and try to get it resonant and all that. But Tommy said, man, he says no adjustment. The wires sent, he just put them on there, and man, that meter showed almost a perfect match on every band. You didn't even touch it.
Well, that's why I bought the RadioWavz bazooka antennas, because I like them. You can make a bazooka antenna. A lot of guys do, but here it comes already cut and measured. And
Yep.
All I got to do is drop my and 40 meter down. I got it on a pulley off a pole. Just drop it down and take the old one off, put this one on, and wheel this one up. I got them in. Both of them will be inverted V's.
So Jackie, N4MJG, Jackie, he says, I think Tom adjusted the audio better, way better than it did. I'm not sure what he's saying. I know that people were complaining I was a little hot at first. I tried to back away a little bit and also turned the mic down some, so maybe that's what he's talking about. Just be interesting to see if anybody can tell a difference in quality. I'm suspecting that the quality of our picture should be better if I can find the right mouse here. The quality, I think, of our webcast is better with this new software, and hopefully the audio and video is okay. And like I said, I was a little worried. Tonight was the first night we actually went live with it, and I didn't know what kind of problems we might have, but it looks like it hung in there.
I missed the first half hour of the show, so I don't know how you adjusted from there. But
hey, Tom, I like the backdrop that you got there. Sorry.
What was that?
I said I like your backdrop there.
Like
the videos and stuff there. You don't normally see that.
Well, yeah, I'm in Studio One this week.
Kathy doesn't know about all those radios.
She doesn't know about them all. I mean, you know.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell you. Oh. Okay.
What do you think?
I like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to find out whose station this is. I thought I knew one time, but I don't know now. And if anybody knows who the station belongs to, I'd like to give them credit for it and let the people know that we used them for a background tonight. So
it's sure not mine.
Yeah, it's not mine either. Mine looks. I've got my background, but since on this new system, I don't have it loaded, so I won't be able to show it to you. But you know, I thought tonight we'd go more ham radio. You know, this past year, you know, we went to Studio One here, and you know, I kind of liked it. You know, let's see. Let me get the phone number off here.
Matter of fact, this antenna I ordered was my last order from AES.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
They should have gave it to you.
At the end of the week.
They should have gave it to you, man.
Yeah, well, I tried to go on the RadioWavz website, but I couldn't get through and get the order placed. I don't know, for some reason it wouldn't work, so I gave up, and I tried calling RadioWavz, and I didn't get an answer first, so I went to AES just to see if they had one in stock. They did, so I ordered it.
Yeah, I'll have to tell Emmett about that. So here we are in Studio 2. There we are. Cameraman, bring us a close-up here. There we go. There's a close-up, Studio 2. I kind of like this studio here. You know, when we're out in when we're up in New York, I like this studio here a little bit. But tonight I felt like that we ought to be.
That's the New York life over there.
Yeah, I felt like tonight we ought to be in Studio 1.
That yellow thing you keep on pointing at?
That what?
Tom, that yellow thing you kept on pointing at, that's the New York Life building there.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
They have things on TV all the time.
I was not sure what city that was actually, and my astronaut friend Doug Wheelock told me, he said, I think that's New York. So yeah, now you're verifying it. You know the building.
Mm-hmm. And I could see the roads there behind you there that lead into what is it, Times Square.
Yeah. How you like that shot right there? That's a shot from behind.
Nice.
For people out there watching the webcast, we've got some monitors over here. We've got a mixer right here to my left. That's our phone lines coming in right there on that PC right there. This PC right here brings in Skype and Hangout.
Here we are.
This PC right here controls all the webcasting and software switching. This PC over here, I'm running the chat room where I can see the chat room, and it's also running. Let me turn it off. Robert's already turned this off, but it's running some software on here called Edcast, which sends our audio by a voice over IP up to Monticello, Maine, to the radio station. So that's kind of what we've got there. Our camera, we got a camera in the center. It's kind of washed out, but my teleprompter, I took it down, so you might notice my teleprompter right now is just a sheet of paper right there under the camera. And then up on the wall, there's another monitor up there that shows all the different video inputs and so forth. So that's kind of what it looks like from the back.
Looks like a real studio,
doesn't it? Though. Well, let's see. And you notice I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 mouses that I use. And you know, people say, why don't you use a KMV switch? You know, I'm using everything almost simultaneously that it didn't work to have a switch where I flip from one PC to the other. So like right now I'm having a look at the chat room. I'm having to control the switching. I'm watching you over here on Hangout, and then if a phone rings, I got to answer it over here. So that's kind of where we are today. There we go. Yeah, it's that's a Behringer 802 mixer that we use for the show. The same trash can. Did somebody see my trash can? Oh man, let me go back. Did they see my trash can? Oh man, they see my trash can on here.
It's empty.
Yeah, it's pretty empty.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, Arno there in the Netherlands says when he uses 2 mouses, he always gets the wrong one. Well, sometimes, I mean, with 4 here, you know, it's kind of like what's that little game they do? They put the little bean under the little cup and they move them around, you know. Sometimes it's kind of like that with these mice here. I try to keep them in order. I've got them in order where, let's see. I've got them in order where, you know, this mouse goes to that one. This white mouse goes to, that's my main webcast machine here. This black one goes to this PC over here. This black one goes to the PC over here. And then, of course, you know, during the show, Kathy's on a PC that's, let's see, where is it? Well, she's got it closed. It's right over there. It's closed right now.
Well, she made a run for it already.
Yeah, usually when we go to hang out, she makes a run for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew I should have covered up my milk crates. You know, the guy says the milk crates make a nice touch. Let me go back to the milk crates. I was looking at those today, and yeah, you know, I tried to move all these PCs back where they're not in the camera shot, and I had to kind of move them back. And when I did that, they wouldn't sit on this table. So yeah, I used over here. We've got milk cartons over here, and we got a wooden box holding this one up over here that I built. So That's kind of how it goes. You can see we're kind of running on the cheap side here. Although we have put a lot of money into the webcast over the last year or two. I mean, the camera's $1,000. Well, this month we bought the new webcast, the Wirecast 7 software. It's like $495. So we put money into it, but we have a lot of fun with it. There we go. We're back. Let's see.
Now, the next thing you want to do, Tom, since you've set this up at your house, is to say maybe go down to a park or something, to see if there's going to be things, or you going to use the old system when you go to Huntsville.
Well, we disassembled some of it. And I forgot to mention, I bought a new laptop to do the webcast. For instance, when we do the roll around or walk around at Huntsville or Dayton, we can't roll around this desktop. So we've got a laptop that we use to stream the show on those events. We don't take the big desktop with us. And I forgot to mention, I just bought a new gaming high-end laptop for this video stuff. It's Alienware. An Alienware PC. In fact, if you watch The Big Bang on TV, it's the same laptop I think that Sheldon has.
You got to be pretty smart to use
that Sheldon has, But hey, that laptop, I was talking about spending money for this software, $490. That laptop was right at $2,000. And, of course, I've never had to buy a laptop in all my life. I always had them provided to me by, the company where I worked or something like that. And being in a business, I always had a lot of laptops. So I'm starting now to, purchase laptops because, after years they get old and you just can't hardly upgrade them.
Boy, where are the rest of the guys tonight?
I don't know. Don't know, man. I was surprised.
No Jeff? No Doc?
No Doc tonight.
Well, Doc was in the two, if I remember correctly.
Was he?
WA4YYM?
Yeah, YYM, I think.
Yeah, he was logged in there. I don't know if he was actually participating. I didn't see him send anything.
Yeah, AB9SY asked, why can't we use our phone to do a walk around? Well, here's the reason. We have been putting in our own, like for Dayton, for example. At Dayton, when you go to Dayton, 3G and 4G won't work anymore. You get 20,000 people in there on Friday and Saturday. Everybody has a phone, and 3G and 4G quit working. So you can't use that. You couldn't depend on getting internet from Hera Arena because it was no good. It wouldn't work on Friday or Saturday when you had 20,000 people in there. So what we've been doing the last years is we've been putting in our own Ka-band satellite internet uplink system there at Dayton and running that directly into our booth, and then putting our own 802.11a 5 gig Wi-Fi from our booth out into the area there. And by doing that, we had control over our internet connection. We could not get the satellite system this year, so I had cable installed there, and just for the 3-day show, the cable internet cost us $700 to have the internet there for the show. Now, they say, why don't I use the phone to walk around? Well, here's the problem. You've got to have a connection, and a phone does not have a connection. It will not work on 3G or 4G in that facility. You're lucky if you can even make a phone call at all. And most phones now have 802.11a, A, B, or G, or N, or whatever. Used to, we would try from our booth to run the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and there were so many access points in Hera Arena that you couldn't go more than about 5 feet without losing, or it being interrupted or losing the signal. So that's why we went with the 802.11a, the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi from our booth. Now, you got to have a program in the phone. I mean, if we want to stream back to our system, I've been looking at this for a long time on how to do it, and looking for different ways to do it. There is a YouTube app that you can use to stream back to YouTube, and if my phone does work with 5 gigs, I could come back through our network, our booth that way. But that's kind of the reasons that we don't do that. I've tried a lot of things. I've tried taking just a camera, and I bought a unit that would stream back just to our provider, and it didn't work very well. Let's see.
That's interesting.
Let's see what they're saying in the chat room. Must be getting close to the mic again.
I don't know, you sound okay here.
Yeah.
I still have the web page going with the show, but I've got it muted.
Now,
So I don't hear that.
let me see. That K2LCF says calling from Ticuacalpa, Honduras. I can't say it. K2LCT, are you trying to call the show? If you are, let me put the phone number back up. There's the phone number. If you're trying to call the show, we'd love to hear from you from Honduras. 901-286-1116 if you want to give us a call. I'm not sure what he was referring to. Yeah, there's a Google app, a Google Hangout app. There's also an app just to stream to. Our stream on YouTube is a little different than Hangout. We've got a live stream that we can put on any time without using Hangout. Hangout does, you can stream events with Hangout, but the YouTube part that we're using basically does not go through Hangout. Let's see. K2LCT watched most of the program. Jackie says on his PR780 he has to get close to it. I probably should have just turned this lapel mic on. Let me turn it on here. Let's see. All right, test 1, 2. Lapel's mic on, and we got a phone call coming in. Let me grab that. All right, let me turn the audio down on my wireless. Who we got there on the phone?
Yeah, this is K2LCT.
LC2, K2. Are you down in Honduras?
I'm actually calling from Honduras.
Cool.
This is voice over IP from Honduras.
Okay, very good. I think Kathy and I stopped in Honduras this summer. We took a cruise down that way and made it through Honduras, I believe. So, how's it going down there? Did you catch most of the show tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to sign in with my Honduras call.
And what happened?
This is voice over IP from Honduras.
Yeah, what happened, K2LCT?
I stopped in Honduras this summer, and we took a cruise in that way. Honduras, I believe. Yeah, you were probably in Roatan.
Yeah, I was. Hey, I hear some feedback. I don't know if you're listening to the show down there, but if you turn that down and just talk to us on the phone, we won't hear the feedback.
It wouldn't take it. It said it was illegal. Illegal. I'm still here.
Never heard of it being illegal.
Yeah, I was. Hey, I hear some feedback. I don't know if you're listening to the show down there, but if you turn that down and just talk to us on the phone. Yeah, that's what I have to do. I'm looking for my. There it is.
Yeah, there's a on the video window.
Okay. It's very confusing when you.
Oh yeah,
it's about 3 seconds. Delayed.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was Rotan or wherever.
Here on the internet, and I was on 20 meters this evening, but the band was really bad on 20 meters. Had some funny propagation.
Yeah, I hadn't been on in a while. I spend most of my time getting ready for the show here. Well, my audio, I'm pretty loud. Hey, Bill, am I real loud?
Yeah.
It changed when you went to the.
I don't think you had
the voice
lapel mic.
delayed on the show. I just muted the show here.
Okay. We were now. I've turned the mic
But
down.
I did have a problem signing in. It would not take HR1 K2LCT, and then when I put K2LCT in it, it signed in. So.
Well, I never heard of that. It should be able to take anything you type in, unless somebody else already has it and has it registered. So, I tell you what, try this. And what's the name there?
My name is Dick.
Dick. Okay.
Don't
Hey,
send
Dick.
me a Charlie King.
Dick, try this, Dick.
I think I'm on the radio.
Yeah. Hey, Dick, try this in the chat room for me real quick. There's a way to change. I don't know if you're familiar with chat rooms, but to change your name, just type
No, I've never used it before.
Okay.
My first
Hey,
time.
do this. Type a / and then the word Nick, N-I-C-K. So it's a / Nick, and then put a space, and then type your call letters in there like you tried to put in earlier, and it should change you to that call. I'll watch it while you do it. Yeah, and say the name of the town there. Tegucigalpa.
Tegucigalpa. Some people just say Tegus.
Tegucigalpa.
Abbreviation that
Yes,
a
okay.
lot of people use. Tegucigalpa is a tongue twister.
Okay, Tegucigalpa. Okay. Yeah, you want to try to?
It's the capital city.
Okay, yeah. Hey,
What are you doing in Honduras?
Oh, I live here. Well, I live
okay.
here part time. I have a place in Phoenix, Arizona, and I have a place here.
Cool.
So.
Well,
Yeah.
Dick, if you
Maybe
want,
you're just there for work or something.
No, I'm an old guy. I'm old retired guy that plays ham radio all day.
well, I've never really visited Honduras other than just going through on a cruise ship. My job that I just retired from, I managed all the Latin America countries and Puerto Rico and the Caribbean, and did telecommunications. Did telecommunications for FedEx, and I had people down in Panama and Guatemala, and then all over South America and of course the Caribbean.
Oh, okay. So you're right around the corner from us.
Yeah, not too far. Not too far.
Yeah.
I think I believe is El Salvador. That's north of you, isn't it?
Right. That's right next to us. We
Right
border
next to you.
El
Well,
Salvador, Guatemala, and Nicaragua, and we're on a real short corner of Belize.
Well, I put in networks all over the world, and we put in networks into we had a call center in El Salvador, And it has to be very dependable circuit. You know, I mean, we can't take not even 1 minute of an outage. It costs, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
So anyway, we put the best circuits we could get in there, and of course we put backup in. But I believe, I'm thinking back, I believe, you know, a lot of times these fiber and different cables, they can bury them. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, is Honduras, is that like volcanic rock? And I think they couldn't even bury the cable through a lot of Honduras. Maybe
is that right?
Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe it was the jungle. I had another incident. I think Honduras is where the cables actually went through the jungles, and I think some animal ate through one of the cables, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. That's believable. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the reason.
When I first came here, I've been here about 10 or 12 years. When I first came here, there wasn't much undersea cable, and they were using satellite, and the satellite was really flaky. But now it's all undersea cable now. So I think on both coasts, we have the Pacific coast and the Caribbean coast, and I think they got undersea cable going through both.
I think we
oceans.
brought. Of course, we used, you know, the undersea cables, particularly over on the Gulf side, and I think we also had them on the Pacific side. But I believe what I remember was that the reason the fiber or whatever the cable was, you know, it was aerial, meaning up on poles or something, and went through the jungle. And they said they couldn't bury it because the area was volcanic rock or something. They couldn't bury it. So I don't know. Anyway, we fixed that problem. We finally got enough backup in.
Yeah.
We fixed that.
Yeah, we have all overhead cables here. Outside my house, I have 4 separate cable companies. So
yeah.
We have a lot of wire and cable that go over above ground. They don't do much underground. When I live in Arizona, everything is underground in Arizona.
It was back in February when Kathy and I came down here, and I think it was Rotan. It was stopped in. We also I went through the Panama Canal to the Pacific, and we turned around and came back. And man, in February it was hot. It was hot down here in February.
Yeah. Well, we're up in the mountains. This is the central part of Honduras, and it's about 3,000-4,000 feet. And we have sort of mild weather here. We don't get real hot.
Okay. Well, I hope you have international dialing and unlimited on your phone. Oh, you're doing voice over IP, so I'm not sure what you're using.
Yeah, I'm using my U.S. phone here to call.
Yeah,
it's,
I was going to say nowadays with the internet, man, it's easy to put Vonage or Magic Jack or anything anywhere, you know.
Right. Everything goes over voice over IP.
Yeah. And that was a big thing.
Okay, Tom, good talking to you.
Okay, Dick, thanks a lot for joining us. Hope to see you next week.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right, 73.
73.
Bigger. There you go, Tom.
All right. Well, that was Dick down in Honduras.
See, your show's getting out all over the world.
Man, our signal's getting way out there, isn't it? Look at here, made it down to Honduras tonight. So if anybody wants to call in, 901-286-1116. I got the number up on the screen. Or you can join us on Hangout.
Yeah.
You have to scroll up in the chat room, but there's a link for Hangout actually up in the topic of Hangout. There is the link. If you'll copy and paste that, you can join us on Hangout.
Yeah, we'll welcome somebody else here. Oh, it's after 11 o'clock here already.
Yeah, it's getting a little late here.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the chat room. We got people dropping off and going to bed. we've we'll be webcasting the Huntsville, Alabama Hamfest, August the 20th, and that Saturday night we'll do a special webcast that Saturday evening from the hotel lobby or the restaurant. We will webcast live from there, and we'll have a lot of special guests with us. We'll have all the big guys that are walking by. We're just going to be in the lounge there, webcasting, and inviting people to come by and talk about whatever they want to talk about. 9 p.m. in Honduras.
Well, it's 11 p.m. here in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where I'm at in the UP. He's down there in Honduras, and I'm up here by Lake Superior.
Yep. Well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and get off here. And Bill, good to see you again up there, and wherever you are. You're up there in one land. I forget. You're up in
Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Massachusetts. Massachusetts. You're up there. You're up
as
there.
far north and as far east as you can into the state of New Hampshire.
Well, we've got, I guess, Arno. He says he's in The Hague. It's 5 a.m. He's been on the show nearly every night with us. It's 5 o'clock in the morning over there.
Boy, that's a dedicated watcher.
Yeah, it is. PD3ADN. Arno over in The Hague. I've been through The Hague. Arno, I traveled a lot at my job. I put a lot of telecommunications in and managed Europe's telecommunications. And one of my favorite trips was I would catch the train from Amsterdam down to Brussels, Belgium, and we would go through The Hague. I think we went through Rotterdam, but I know we went through The Hague, and that was a cool train ride.
Well, it looks like Ed only gets the time to watch us for Hangout. So
and Ed,
you just have to watch it on the YouTube.
Yeah, and Ed, all of our programs are recorded, and you can watch it tonight or tomorrow. It'll be ready to go. You can find us on our YouTube channel, W5KUB, or right here on this website. If you look at the top of the menu, you'll see it says Archives. If you click on Archives, it will show you a list of all the shows for the past 17, 18 months, or even longer. And again, anybody listening, join our Facebook group. I'll find some kind of prize to give you. I'll give you
a prize again. I can try to win a prize again. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Arno's saying yes. Amsterdam, The Hague, Rotterdam, Roosendaal, Antwerp. Yeah, Antwerp, and then Brussels. I remember that ride. That was a cool train ride. There are a lot of bicycles in Amsterdam. I'm talking to Arno up in Netherlands right now. A lot of bicycles. There are hundreds and thousands of bicycles chained to the rails up and down the streets. Some of them I know have not been unlocked in 80 years. And then if you ask somebody how deep the water is in all the canals, they say, it's probably 30 or 40 feet, but they say it's got 20 feet of bicycles in them. Let's see if Arno can confirm that the bicycles are in the canal. We'll give him a couple seconds for the delay. We should be hearing from him any second. It's kind of like waiting for that signal back from Mars, Any second, he should be. Any second, Arno should be coming in. Eyes are glued on the chat room. There he is. There he is. He says they cleaning up regularly. Boy, well, maybe they started cleaning it up. I don't know.
Get the rusty bikes out of there.
Yeah, Ed says that my audio is perfect all the way around right now. That's because I'm using this lapel mic right here, and I've got this desk mic turned down, so I'm staying a pretty consistent distance from the lapel mic here. I don't know that it sounds as good as this other mic right here, but at least it's probably more consistent.
You sound like you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lock in the settings.
Yeah.
Arno must have a day job. I mean a night job. Oh, I don't know what he's got. Maybe he's retired like some of us. Stay up all night and watch his show, man. Got to give him credit.
Either that or he's an early riser.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have had to get up about 3 o'clock. Yeah. It's 5 now, so the show started 2 hours ago.
No offense to you, Tom, but I won't be getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch you.
Well, you know, I had Colonel Doug, astronaut Wheelock. He got up at 3. What time was it? 3:30 in the morning to be on our show here a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I felt so sorry for the guy, man. He said, "No problem. No problem. I can get up, no problem."
He works midday and evenings.
Yeah. Let's see, midday and evenings. I wonder when he sleeps. Man, Arno, you need to get some sleep. Don't let us keep him getting sleep now. Okay, Ed says the lapel mic's probably the best overall. I agree with you. It's probably much more consistent. Once I set the level over here, I don't have to do much. This new program though, it's got VU meters on it where I can see the audio, and they're just looking really erratic. It's like it's I don't know. That was one of my concerns tonight. I wasn't sure the audio was even working. Yep. All right, well, let me see here. I'm going to get out of here in just a minute. So we went through Studio 2 tonight, and we went through Studio 6, and then we went back to Studio 1 right there. And then here's in the back of Studio 5 right here. We're back behind everybody right now.
That's your dream station right there.
Yeah, it's both new and old gear. You know, it looks like some software defined here. I don't know if that's Flex, but it's something there. And then of course, some of the Heathkit stuff and Viking, and I see a Viking matchbox up there. Yes. Then it looks like you got some. I'm trying to look at the radios on the top, right here. Looks like I'm not sure what those are. It's a new modern.
They almost look the same from what I'm. It's kind of blurred. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a different radio for each band. I knew a doctor in our town years ago that all Collins with him. That was back in school, and he had a Collins rig for each band. He didn't even switch the band to the radio. He just went to the different radio first.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I haven't played my cat. Yeah, let me do a Valerie here. You're not going to hear this on. You're not going to hear this on Hangout, but let me play this real quick.
Hello, this is Valerie Hatzfeld, NV9L. You know, there's nothing worse than not being able to go to your favorite ham fest until W5KUB. They have live streaming, interviews, and tons of prizes. Just make sure you're logged into the chat room so you can win.
Yeah, it's almost over. There we go. There we go.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer.
Cat.
You just type in the question. It will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna sign off here, and we will talk to you guys next Tuesday.
Okay, time for your peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
I want one, but 2 days ago I kind of went on a diet, and I'm not eating any snacks now between any meals.
Oh.
But right now I can taste that peanut butter sandwich right now, man. Oh, gee. Yeah. I'd like to lose about 20 pounds before Huntsville. That's 22 days. That's probably an impossible task.
There's a lot of work.
All right. See you, Arno, next week. Goodbye.
Okay. See you guys next week.
Good night, Tom.
All right.
Good night, guys. To everybody else, too. Every three.
You guys can stay on and talk if you want to. I'm just leaving. Goodbye. Thanks to everybody for following us tonight. Hope you had a good time.